You cut off your poorly thought of sentence as you hear something enters the room. It's not the sound of footsteps, but the sounds of clinking armor, creaking leather, and breathing. Fuck, 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 fuck. Oh, it's the boy. Is sniffing? It's definitely our boy. The fucking jackal. Quietly, you put your hand over Kriya's mouth. Fortunately, she does not cry out. Sniffing is getting closer. Whatever it is likely on your scent, and so there's no point in staying still. What do? Draw your sword and prepare for battle. It's Jackal, I'm guessing. You draw your sword and the glow of your sword lights up the room. You stand up and prepare for battle. It's Iranova. It's Iranova. Her head is up. She's wearing a helm. Her long, dark hair cascades down over her shoulder, presently throwing a chair at you with inhumane strength. You try to dodge, too late. You're struck in the chest and flung back. You've only been down for a moment before Iranova is around the table ready to pounce. Now that the sword room is lit up with your sword, Kriya's on her feet, staring fearfully at the vampire, her hands flexing as though considering a spell. Sheath the sword, fool, hisses Iranova. You do as she says, again plunging the room into darkness. Although you can still see thanks to your darkness. Apologies, you say. I thought you might be someone else. Iranova backs up a few steps and raises her chin. I'm a soldier now, says Iranova proudly, and for a moment her eyes are not so hard. I see that a formidable soldier, I'm sure you say, nodding seriously while suppressing a smile. Her armor is ill-fitted and does not look comfortable. Her breasts have been squashed to her chest under chain leather. Her hips, which are too large for the elven armor, have been. How large are her hips? I saw her picture. It's not that fucking huge. Fucking hell. Which are. She's not the winner of the Miss Bum Bum Championship, you know. By the way, that's a real thing. I was amazed. There's a championship in Brazil called the Bum Bum Championship, which or like Miss Bum Bum it's called apparently, which is like a beauty contest, but who has the most prettiest ass or something like that. What for the elven armor have been slashed, cut vertically in the sides, revealing bare skin underneath. You left me, she says, without a proper apology for slaying Theodman. Alright, I'm sorry. Apologies, says Kriya, interrupting you, her voice quaking. Iranova laughs. It is a pleasant laughter. Perhaps she laughed often this way before she was turned. Iranova motions to you to follow. Come, let us have a look at the field of battle. She's not going to talk anything more about it. She says in a tone that sounds like she has forgotten about Theodman. Iranova leads you out of the house and through the streets towards the sound of war. Instinctively, you keep close to her. This turns out to be wise because it is not long before a vulture-headed demon, dripping with muscle, takes notice of you. He rears up, opens his wide beak. However, when his pitiless, rageful eyes fall upon Iranova, the demon drops onto all fours and runs along, presumably searching for softer prey. Continuing on, you're getting closer to the battle now. Soon, even more monsters of different sorts are converging. There's nowhere to hide. An Orthodox demon swing his Khadgal. I know what a Khadgal is, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Leslie at Kriya. Kriya dodges it in close to Iranova, nearly being pulverized by the massive weapon. Meanwhile, the Orthodox simply continues lumbering forward on his way towards the sound of battle. You will be safe up here, says Iranova as she enters a scorched hole in the wall of nearby building. You're forced to leap over several human corpses as you follow Iranova up a wide stairway. Soon you feel a cold breeze. You smell the stink of burning flesh as you emerge into a partially demolished floor with much of the wall missing, providing you with a wide view of the battlefield. There are some bodies strewn about, some soldiers of the Duke, a few goblins, and one puddle of slime spattered across broken bricks. Perhaps a half dozen large eyeballs scattered in the goo. Keep a distance from that. Fucking hell, what the hell is that? It must be that fucking level 6 demon or something that was underneath, which was like all goo-like. Or maybe it's something else, who knows. Compared to the tower, you now have a much closer view of the battle. It's terrible sight. Armored soldiers struggle against demons and other monsters of unimaginable shapes. Many of these monsters in turn are bent on slaughtering each other. The stink of rot, burning bodies make you put your arm over your mouth. I still don't understand why the abyss and the hell both broke loose in these places. Like, the godlings did not do that, as far as I can tell. Maybe they did, who knows. Are you sure we are safe here? You shout to be heard over your sleeve or the cacophony below. Iranova shrugs. I smell less live blood up here. Live blood, you say. You're about to rip your eyes away from the battlefield in order to do a thorough search of the ruins when a large reddish-skinned figure catches your attention. Gyalmegas. He's a few hundred meters away. It is unmistakably with his giant armored body. He now wears a helm, his own modest horns sticking through, a large steel razor-piked horns built into the helm like the rack of a huge fiendish stag. His eyes glow with an orange-red light. The glow could be reflection from the many fires burning nearby, but you suspect it is by way of his own fiendish magic. Galmega stands behind a large stone slab, using it like a table or an altar. The slab, jugged and uneven, appears to simply be a piece of ruin dragged up onto a pile of rubble. Galmega pins a struggling, bound soldier to the altar with one hand and rips the helm off the soldier's head. With the other hand, smashes his fist down, splattering gore. Immediately upon his swift execution, wisps of shadowy smokes rise up from the pulverized corpse. Soul-crushing, says Kriya, raising her voice to be heard over the din, perhaps to power the ram. You follow Kriya's pointing figure to the battering ram you spotted early from the tower. Now with a closer view, you can make out the demons wielding it, mostly Bane demons with their multiple arms, although there are some large, thuggish demons such as Orthrax. The ram's head, styled as a goat-like monster, of course, glows that it is pulled back, and then as it strikes a shield around the temple, it flashes, followed by a thunderous clap. Boom, boom, boom. The ram adds a rhythmic beat to the unharmonious chorus of war. A multi-armed thug of a demon passes Galmegas, another woman, a captive, a woman by the shape of her unarmed, clearly not a soldier. A swarm of creatures falling off of the woman, gushing from her like water, then scurrying away. From this distance, it's hard to say what they are. Spiders. Yes, spiders around the size of a small fist. Galmegas quickly smashes the woman on his bloody slab, as he has done with the prisoner before. His mouth is moving rhythmically as he works, as though chanting. There's a line of captives stretching away from Galmegas' altar. The captives are mostly human in size, although there are few smaller creatures mixed in that might be goblins. They all are covered in rippling spiders. Several spider-like demons are scuttling along the line. These demons have the lower body of a spider, bloated abdomen, thick lower thorax, and many legs with a human-like upper body. The heads of these demons are larger than a man's, with long mandibles extended from his face. These monstrosities appears to be policing the line of business. One of the spiders falls upon one prisoner, gushing smaller spiders upon him, wrapping him in webbing. This demonic sacrificial procession is not uncontested, however. A significant host of what must be devils is pushing towards the altar, and they are met with a ragged battle line of demons. The devils are largely made up of humanoids, with fire bursting from the seams of their plate armor. This variety is what Egra had called Hell Stormtrooper. The hellfire that sustains them provides ample light over the battlefield. Arrows and spear fly up towards Galmegas, only to strike an invisible shield and fall harmlessly to the ground. Suddenly, a black hole, larger than a giant, forms behind Galmegas, and out of this strides a horror, even larger than the demon lord himself. The monster looks like he just emerged from the deepest fires of abyss. His skin ripples with heat and is unnerved by the molten cracks. His head and back are aflame. What is this, a Goliath? He has a long whipping tail with many tails in one hand and a broadsword in the other. A sword so large that no man could wield it even with two hands. His body bulges with muscles, and wicked horns just jut out all over his body. The dark portal disappears as the monster stops beside Galmegas. He stands motionless, apart from turning his head to look over the battlefield before him. His sword and whips at the ready. Galmega does not even look at this newcomer. Rather, he grabs the next sacrifice to slaughter. Nivel's scrotum. What is this? What is that standing beside Galmegas, you ask? Kriya leans forward, squinting towards where you are pointing. That, she says grimly, must be a Baler. Why do I feel like I've heard that word before? A Baler, you say. What sort of number does that demon have? Higher than type 4, I wager? Fire demons spawned by the drawing together of many evil souls. There is no number of rank for a Baler. There are only a few of them in the multiverse. She frowns and massages her chin. Thoughtfully, a Baler is an army on its own. Everyone knows how Balers delight in the battle above all things. It is curious that he stands in reserve now. Well, he just arrived, you say. Yet he lingers. Demons do not linger when there is killing to be done. Not even for a moment, says Kriya. He is not a slave of Galmegas, is he not? Perhaps he's waiting for his master's command, you say? Kriya twists her mouth in thought and then shakes her head. A Baler is a slave to nothing. Not to a demon lord or anything else in the multiverse. He restrains himself by his own choice. Then Galmegas must be doing something important. So important that the Baler chooses to guard him rather than slaughter the enemy, you say. That does not bode well, says Kriya. Seeing a glimmer of hope, you scan the battlefield for any allies. Closer to the left are the Duke's men, at least what's left of them. Their gleaming plate mail is dented and spattered with blood. Still they're exhausted, there they fight on, as only men who have no choice will do. These men battle a hodgepodge of monsters, including giants, devils, demons, few beasts you can't readily identify, and particularly tall troll with high, scraggly hair thrashes as soldiers stick him with pikes, trying desperately to keep him at bay. The troll has a small winged creature on his back. Maybe one of those quasets can run across earlier. That is biting down between the troll's shoulder blades. What must be the Duke himself fights at the front line. Although the Duke is fighting, that's interesting. I thought the Duke would have escaped the city at this point. Although he's far and his visor is down, you recognize his distinguished cape. If he is exhausted, he shows no sign of it. He swings his glowing sword in a flurry of blows, as though he himself were among the immortals. Other elite knights surge forward with their dukes, some seemingly trying to surround and protect him. If the duke's shoulders pass these would be protectors of meat fiends with his own blade. So he's fighting out there. The monsters fight them among themselves, says Kriya, nodding towards the front line, being held by the city defenders. Thank the gods for that, or else our Duke would have been already overwhelmed. The devils fighting the demons is particularly... The devils fighting the demons is a particular blessing, you say. Kriya chuckles without mirth. It is a mess. I count at least 2 battle lines. One with the demons and devils, other with the dukes and all sorts of villains in between the pandemonium. A 3rd battle line is forming, you say, pointing further away. You see the glint of polished armor bathed in white light. These knights are marching with purpose, though through a wide street that has been widened further by earlier devastation. The knights are cutting down scattered demon fools, enough to hurl themselves against their line. Is that the light of Aletheia, you ask, still pointing to the new army? Wretches, this is Renova, they're too late. Perhaps we should wait before we join this. I don't know if you can call it a battle, you say. Chaos incarnate, says Kriya. The abyss has spilled out into our world. This is not our fight after all, you say. I see no opportunity. Your voice trails off. No one can hear you anyway, as an explosion detonates, making you lean back. What exploded? The time is almost here, says Renova with her eyes wide and maniac. You're about to ask what she's talking about when movement from the corner of your eye brings your attention. A huge red dragon dives down, blocking the moonlight. You shout an alarm as the beast belches forth a torrent of fire among the Duke and his men. The fire washes up like among the Duke and his men. Upon the Duke, oh wow, he fucking burned the Duke and his men? The fire washes up like a wave, striking a boulder as a fierce blue glow pushes back against it. That is powerful shield. There is something familiar about this magic. Kalak, cries Kriya. She points into the host of the Duke. Sure enough, you spot Kalak disguised as a man. Her hands are glowing bright blue. Suddenly she is hidden behind a mass of knights with her large adorned helms. Kalak lives, yet where is Drala, you wonder? We must join Kalak, exclaims Kriya. How? You say, waving at the writhing embattled combatants. In a lake of such evil, we would never even reach the Duke's line. The dragon is banking around. Instinctively you hide behind the wall, keeping only your head out to observe. Kriya does not hide, rather she stands out in the open on the ruined floor, scanning the battlefield. You notice inspecting one of the corpses, prying the eyelids open, saying something to the body that you cannot make out over the cacophony. Come on, Agra, you say in your mind. As you look over the temple of eternal love, the magic shield appears to be holding. However, the battering ram is flashing with power with each strike. How long will it hold? Waking up, or am I leaving? Wake up, or I'm leaving. I did not come all this way to stand here and wait to die. I don't know why you call out. What do you plan to battle? That is, you don that armor to protect yourself from whom exactly? The vampire drops the corpse and looks up at you. Everyone. You don't think you like that answer. In order to ask for some clarification when Kriya points up and exclaims, a celestial. The air is not controlled by fiends alone. No. Hide. A celestial. Oh, no. It's Zelva. Zelva is here. Following her finger, you see the large angelic wings above, the small female body illuminated by crackling red magic. You recognize the massive horns on the body, yet busty body. That's not celestial, quite the opposite. Her name is Zelva. She's a demon lord. Kriya shakes her head, but the wings. You should not put so much stock in plumage, you say. Have you ever seen such large horns, any horns on an angel? As though to make the point, Zelva throws a massive red bolt down into that mist of Duke's men, although thankfully the bolt explodes against the magical shield. Priya's face falls. The air is uncontested, except I see more devils aloft. Good. Let the demons and the devils slaughter one another, you say. Yet if we stepped out there, no doubt they would unite to strike us down from above and below, says Kriya. Okay, so Zelva did not show up at a moment where, we would not even know what to do. Fucking hell. Fuck. We have so many fucking strong enemies at this point. This is getting ridiculous. I see no reasons to... Yeah. Let's see how this plays out. Perhaps if we could get under the shield of Kalak, says Kriya, ignoring your selection. We would have to be clever on the approach. A woman should always be clever, comes a familiar voice, and if she can, a great deal more. You turn to see a woman's figure simmering in the air, then Azazel materializes. Shit, are you fucking serious? Every motherfucker is showing up. Are you fucking serious? Clutches the hilt of his sword. But don't dare to draw it, Azazel, you exclaim. Jackal appears on the stairway, clanking. His visor is up, showing his mutilated dog eyes. His eyes burn. Azazel stands with a relaxed posture with a wand in each hand, absently tapping them together, showering sparks. Gods above and below. Now succubus, groans Kriya. She backs up closer to you, her hands at the ready. Irinova snarls. The binder of souls, is it? Irinova's voice has changed it from her feminine voice to something hissing and dripping with venom.